wanted to give you a quick one. Why the order of things matters, and why most people they try to go out of order. And funny enough, when you go into like let's say you're baking a cake. Like, this is the most obvious example, right? And it's when you're trying to bake a cake, you get a bunch of ingredients. You have the recipe that you're going to follow sequentially. If you don't follow it in the right order, you're not going to get a cake. Everybody knows that. Many people have pretty much, either if you've tried to bake, you know the process of baking, and you know that there's a sequence of events that's very important. If you go out of sequence, you don't get a cake. And so nobody gets upset that, if somebody tried to not follow the sequence, that they didn't end up getting the cake. And then, you could take that for many, many other examples. Say, for example, you're learning how to play the piano. If you try to learn something super advanced, but you didn't learn the basics, no one's going to sit there and be like, you should be really upset about that. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, like, you went out of order. You tried to build something out of sequence. If the examples are many with this. It's like, you don't go into calculus and be like, I just want to learn calculus, but I don't want to learn algebra, I don't want to learn basic math, and I'm pissed off because I don't know calculus, and I'm in here and I should be able to do calculus. What the fuck? Nobody does that. Everybody knows that if I want to learn calculus, I gotta go learn algebra first, right? Construction. If they go out of order, there's quite a bit of a mess that gets made. Things have to be redone. Things have to be taken down. So that's why they have a very specific order. These guys come in first, right? Like, I don't know the exact order, but we'll just say, we know there is one. Like, the plumbing gets laid in the ground, the foundation gets poured, the frame goes up, right? We have our carpenters come in, then we have the electricians come in, then we have plumbing in the walls that goes in, then we have the finish, we have the drywall goes in next. Like, if you put the drywall up but you didn't put the electrical in the framing, you're gonna have a problem. So 3 minutes of examples and just setting this up of like, food is the same way, nutrition is the same way. There's a sequence of events. Well, the thing with food is, like, everyone does it, so everyone thinks they know what they're doing, but in reality, it's like, just because, like, everybody has a car, everybody can drive a car, but that doesn't mean you know how the car works. That doesn't mean you know how to maintain it very well. That doesn't mean you know how to drive it even very well, right? Like, a lot of people have cars, they're not very good drivers. So, like, forget about, like, being able to fix your own car. So, and so all that set up to say that nutrition and training and losing fat has a sequence that must be followed if you want it to work smoothly and be easy, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and give you that sequence right now, and this comes from literally learning from the best people on the planet, the people who not only have the skills, who have the leanest bodies, the strongest bodies. Like, I've been coached by some of the leanest, strongest people on the planet, and I'm honored to call some of those people my friends, and to be able to talk to them regularly, who understand it not just from a scientific perspective, because they're PhDs and high-level athletes and record holders and whatnot, but also from a practical perspective of how do you apply that as a regular person in the real world and still get maximum results, right? And then me being a regular guy, like I'm not a physical specimen, but I've figured out how to do this thing correctly and how to make it super easy and simple. That's mastery. That's what mastery is about. Mastery isn't about making it look more difficult than what it is. Mastery is about making it look effortless. And anybody can do that. If you build it in the right sequence with the right skill sets, okay? So here's the sequence that you got to go in, okay? First and foremost, you got to track and weigh everything, and you got to only eat things that are easy to track, okay? So like an apple is easy to track because you just put it on a scale and you put it into MyFitnessPal as one apple, and then whatever the weight was, that's it. Very simple. Chicken breast. If I measure, let's say, 6 ounces of chicken breast that's uncooked on my scale, and then I cook it and I eat it, and then in MyFitnessPal I search chicken breast and I put 6 ounces. That's very accurate. Why do I need to do this? Because I start to see and develop the awareness and the knowledge. This is like my basic, if I'm going to calculus, this is my algebra. This is how I do it, right? These are the skill sets that need to be developed before all the other stuff, okay? Before you get to the point of, so a lot of people see me and they're like, they want to work with me because they see me eating enchiladas and pancakes and eating out and eating pronte, and like they see me eating all these things, so that's why they want to work with me and they want to do that. But the problem is that they don't want to develop the skill set to be able to do that. And so that's kind of what my point is with all this right now, is like, look, here's the sequence. Number 1, weigh everything, make good decisions. Make decisions that are easy for you to track. Okay? Don't start off going to restaurants that you have no clue what you have no idea to track. You can't do it. No, make it easy. Maybe that's just eating real foods. Just eat real foods. And just weighing them. That's super simple to do. That's very easy to do. Tuna can. You scan the the barcode on the tuna can, and then you input that into your MyFitnessPal as one can. You can't mess that up. If you only eat half of the fish in the tuna can, you put half of a serving, right? So, or you eat 2 slices of bread, you scan the barcode on the bread, and that's very simple. You don't have to, there's no complex figuring out, right? You know what it is. So weigh things. That's the right sequence. Step 1, weigh things as much as possible, preferably in grams because it's more accurate. And make food choices that are easily tracked. People might think Oreos is bad, but in reality, it's a great choice because you just look at the box and it says 3 cookies is 1 serving. In that case, you don't even have to measure or weigh it because 3 cookies is it's very easy. All the cookies are the same size. So these are things that make it easy for yourself. McDonald's, I want to order a hamburger. Great choice. 1 hamburger is 250 calories. So when you're first starting out, develop the skill set of weighing things and making easy choices, right? And then just do that for a long time period. And then the next part of this is you start developing your own recipes. Well, you don't need to develop your own recipes. Just make food using recipes that already exist, so you can start to see what are the calories for different things, right? Once you start to do that, then you start to have an idea of, oh, this food is usually this many calories. This food, blah, blah, blah. Oil has X amount of calories. Butter has this amount of calories. Eventually, you'll accumulate enough knowledge and information where I can go any restaurant in the world and eat whatever I want, and I know what I'm eating as far as calories go. It's not a problem. But you will not get to that if you go out of order. So I'll stop this for right now. Like, that's the main thing. The sequence of how to build your ability to eat whatever you want. The first step is the most important, which is first you got to learn how much things actually weigh and what 1 ounce looks like, and what's a gram, blah blah blah. And so you'll find things out like, did you know 1 serving of cheese, which is always like a slice or a certain amount or whatever, is 28 grams. Okay? If you look across packages, whatever, they will always say 1 serving size, which is 28 grams. Okay? And guess what? 28 grams is 1 ounce. So you see, you start to pick these things up where otherwise you would never know. Like, if you didn't weigh that and measure it and track it, how would you know a slice of cheese is 28 grams? Or that 28 grams is the same as 1 ounce? Right? So learn your skill sets. Like, learn your skills, learn the fundamentals before you start doing fancy stuff. Like, fancy stuff is not, you can't do it until you got the basics down. So I just wanted to leave that. I think a lot of people go out of order. They want to be able to do all this shit, but they don't know how to do basic math. They don't know anything. So don't be frustrated with yourself if you're like, man, well, when can I eat whatever I want? Even when I have a client, right? Like, I have clients come in, like, for example, in the Strong Body Blueprint, I take 2 trial clients every month, and the first thing we do, their goal is eventually, not their goal, they're going to eat whatever they want and lose fat. But the first step is we're going to weigh stuff, and we're going to learn the skills. And luckily for them, the way that the blueprint is set up is that you get to eat the things that you want to eat and know exactly and be able to weigh those things, and I break that down and I show them. So they get best of both worlds. But when people are on their own and they don't know what they don't know, they run into problems. So earn your skills, and earn the ability to the right to be able to do the fancy stuff because you've mastered the basics. And at the end of the day, it's all basics. That's really what it comes down to, is like, if you don't know the basics, there's nothing else. Like, there's really nothing else. Like, the basics is everything. So that's it. I do have this. I will say one thing before I leave for tonight, which is I'm starting the Strength Method email, which is basically going to be a paid email group. And once a month, I will send out a physical mail letter, because I just like physical mail. And I always tell people, like, part of the thing to work on is really start to eliminate as much of the unnecessary consumption of things as possible. And so, being that's my what I've found to be very effective, I want to contribute to that. It's like, if you find what I share valuable, maybe you don't. Maybe you're like, this makes no fucking sense, and blah blah blah. Like, I'm gonna go off and do my keto and intermittent fasting. It's your choice. But if you find what the things that I say valuable, then I want to be able to contribute to helping you get off of the social medias and blah blah blah, so that you can still get the right information as far as health and all that goes, and you could get it in a letter that goes straight to you. So that's something that is I've been working on, and if you want to know about that and you want to be a part of that, just send me a message on Instagram, Ranbir.Sanghera, and I'll send you the info. And it's super cheap. So that's that. I will see you probably tomorrow on here. If you got questions, the best place to send them is on Instagram, and I try to answer those questions on the podcast. So have a great night.